wild bones in this body shivering. See the dust cart trains are coming and the ravens bellowing. Lost souls trapped in the ground, they were silent, now they're whispering. Feel the rumble of the rolling clouds, all the gods fury. It's March 23rd, and you tuned into the People's Patriot Project WeP3 Weekly Debrief. Right now, you're listening to WeP3 Radio, proudly produced in partnership with Reach Across America Radio. Together, we share the mission to remember the fallen, honor those who have served, and to teach future generations the value of freedom. The freedom bought and paid for and secured by the brave men and women who have worn our community and our country's uniform. Stay tuned for the WeP3 Weekly Debrief. Now playing on WeP3 Radio. JP, Lost in My Mind release. Down on the lonely road, can't remember who or where I've been. Feel my body shaking now, hallelujah, I was made for sin. Burned down the heavenly house, so please accept to finally go my way. I'm going on a ride.
Left your left, hey. Left right, your left. You got it.
Thank you for joining in today with Andrea Eichmann and Mark Peterson of the People's Patriot Project for this week's WeP3 Debrief. Find out what our crew has been working on to help support those who have given some and all to the pursuit of liberty and freedoms across Minnesota and the United States. Watch, listen, and support as we create the beacon of hope and opportunity in today's society that needs its heroes. Are you a veteran, first responder, or a patriot looking for a place to put your skill set, your thoughts, and or want to help continue the mission? You have come to the right place. We are the People's Patriot Project, and we want to be the shock and awe when it comes to meeting the needs of our veterans and first responders. We are dealing with a new enemy in today's world where the wounds are not always seen. We want to be part of this mission in saving lives and making a difference. Welcome to the WeP3 Debrief. Here's Andrea and Mark letting you know the mission. And as always, Patriot Pride.
Greetings, all that are out there, veterans and first responders, and those that follow the People's Patriot Project. We appreciate you being here and being here on time and all the above. And we are here because this is our weekly debrief. Why do we do a weekly debrief? Well, we do a show every Sunday night called We Got Your Six at 6. And we bring on a boots-on-the-ground influencer or organization to share their mission. There's a history to that, why we do it the way that we do it. And we give them that platform night completely 100% free to highlight the men and women that are doing what should be done for those that have served and may be finding some struggles. We've had some pretty good dialogue this week in regards to maybe how people approach veterans and first responders. And we've made some people unhappy, which is okay. I'm all right with that. We've had some people make some statements and thoughts, and that is what it is. We move forward. And the bottom line is, if we get stuck into a spot where we are going to point the finger as to the why, the where, the when, the how, then nothing gets better, because we just spend time blaming others, pointing the finger, and not moving forward and doing what we can do to make the version of us tomorrow better than the version of us today. We can get into the deep dialogues, but Ms. Eichmann, do you want to continue on, or do you want me to do it?
I'm jumping right into.
All right.
Listen, you guys, we had a newsletter. It'll be coming out again in like a week. So be checking your emails, and do me a favor, check your spam emails. I don't know why People's Patriot Project sometimes ends up in your spam or your junk or whatever your email calls it, but go ahead and check that out, see if it's in there. But do go read our newsletter. We have Miss Lauren on the newsletter, and she has been taking good care to share a lot of good stuff. We always have like a little mental health corner. We've got Derek Iozio's The Godfather little corner. We've got some upcoming events, not just in our area, but around the country. And then thoughts from a previous guest, usually somebody who has come up and said, hey, I'd like to share my message. And so check that out. And if you ever want to be one of those people that wants to share your message, then let us know. This is right here, the Derek Iozio Catch-22 peer support. This is what Derek does while he's busy being the Godfather and taking care of business with us. He also has the Catch-22 peer support that he does with a lot of groups. You can find Derek, almost every day in a coffee group, in a one-on-one meeting. Sometimes it's a really large meeting. Then we've got Operation Texas Strong with the Krutzingers. They collect used or barely used RVs. Now, I mean, if you want to donate a new one, that would be amazing. But they've got a list of homeless veterans that they then can house in these RVs that are donated to them. And then last but not least, we have Business Growth Engine, where we have been working very closely with Stephen Rainwater and Jonathan Wills. Oh my gosh. They get stuff done. They just get stuff done. Builder Growth. You can catch Stephen Rainwater. He's been doing a lot of little reels introducing parts and pieces of their business. Not only do they help you build the parts and pieces to make it work, but they're kind of like coaches, I guess you'd say. Like if you have questions on marketing pieces or bookkeeping pieces, they've been involved in a lot of different things. And so there are times when you think you might have things handled, and then someone comes along and sees it from a different angle. And it's like, well, let's try it like this. We haven't mentioned this guy in quite a while, but we're going to throw out Amish with his temple massager. We need to get him back in here and check out what he's got new and what he's done with that temple massager these days. And I just put that in a different place. So let me see if I can find the temple. Oh, if I can find the temple massager. There we go. 20% off with code WeP3. Go to www.templemassager.com and get the temple massage of your life. Oh my goodness. Peterson can attest to the joy of the temple massage. And there we go. We got all those guys taken care of. Peter,
We know, go ahead.
no, I was going to introduce it. Go ahead with it.
We know why we get to do this. Thank you to the service members and first responders who have committed their time, sweat, blood, limbs, family, and life to give us the freedoms we have that allow us to pretty much say, do, and all the things we want. We like the little battle cry of we wear our green because we are not going to go unseen. And then there's all these nuances that you mix into it. For example, they're not all veterans and first responders want you to know that they served. They just want to hold it to themselves, let it be their thing. The reality is we have less than 10% of our country that has committed anything to the freedoms and the liberties that our entire country gets to bitch and complain about whether they have it or not. And that's a frustration for me. Only in the fact that it's kind of you get what you pay for kind of thing. And if you've done nothing and you haven't cared, then why would you care about what you get in the back end? Proverbial and not proverbial, but you should probably keep your cake hole shut and just live with what you got, and that and not expect others to do stuff for you. I'm kind of in that mood tonight. Yeah. We'll go, we'll grow, we'll be. I'm told I need to be nice when it gets into my faith stuff and that I hold my stuff together, but it just gets into a conversation that regularly. Why do you think you deserve more? Why?
Oh boy.
Uh-oh.
Do I got something to share with you?
Oh no.
Oh,
Well, first of all, I didn't get to go see the people I needed to see. I have to go on Wednesday.
Oh.
So that's not it. So this afternoon,
Uh-huh.
I got an email, not an email, but a Facebook post from the HOA president out at the river.
Mm-hmm.
And so they devised this scheme whereby they've found people with empty lots, and there's probably more empty lots than there are built on lots out at our HOA out there. And they've all come to an agreement that they want to increase the size of the beach on the river. And so our place is on a pond that adjoins the river, the bay. And so their great plan is to just let everything close up. And so we have a creek that feeds into the river and a pond that exists from the river. And so this person, newly elected, by the way, told me that we just don't have the votes. And I said, that's a pretty bad perspective. And she got all flustered. And I said, well, what the solution should be is to find out how much more beach you need and then try to figure out how to accommodate the rest of it at the same time. And I said, the community is for everybody that lives out here, not just for people that have properties that they don't even visit, that they own, and they agree to vote with someone. I said, you're supposed to be the leader of our community. You're not just a person with a perspective. And then we got into starting to talk about other things. And I said, well, I inquired as to my political leanings. And I said, that's none of your darn business. That's not exactly what I said, but it was of those same letters, kind of. And I said that's part of the problem. This isn't a political issue. This is an issue for owners. And we're all owners.
Let me get this straight.
Yeah.
This person asked you your political affiliation based on your HOA
Because I said there should
Membership?
be, I said because there should be a solution that accommodates everybody, or at least tries to. You're not just looking out for one side or the other. And that turned into something about politics. And I said, I'm not going there. Who I vote for is none of your business.
Wow.
Yeah. That's how stupid things are getting. It's completely ridiculous.
I don't get these HOA. You just hear nightmares about HOAs and the decisions that are made because some people think that they've got a little bit of clout because they sit on a one block little representation of society, and then they're going to make the rules for everybody.
And this newly hired person is out there casting dispersions on the previous president. It's like, what are you doing? Just do your little time. And it doesn't last forever. I mean, I don't know how often they reelect people, but it's just sad.
So we come here on Mondays and we talk about what the People's Patriot Project is doing. And we've got our hands in there's a lot of irons in the fire. I mean, we're into a bunch of stuff. But what we do regularly is, and Andrea announced our newsletter, and there is information in that newsletter as to the actions and the reactions and the pieces that we do. But we also come and we have a weekly live stream podcast that shares a boots on the ground organization or a influencer and a musician that has served their country at some point as a first responder or veteran. Even we have not even prior service, but we have those that are in service now as well. So our show on Sundays is to highlight those, and I already said this kind of at the beginning of the show, but this week we had the amazing Mr. Earl Jackson of his own podcast, and his podcast, and I've got it all over, Mission Ready Men. And he spent a gigantic portion of his evening saying, this isn't about men. This is about everybody. We did get into a deep conversation last night about the toxicity of the men in our world. And I say that loose cheek, only in the fact that there really is no toxicity, but it is what our world in some areas and arenas want to make you believe. I've actually sat in some conversations with people that say that men are toxic. I've been in trainings. Now, don't get me wrong. Yes, there are some pieces, there are some places, there are some things that where there are men who are not necessarily, I don't know the right word, edifying, supportive, build and grow, and that there is, and you know what? Some of those guys are in our military world. I totally get it. And again, I don't want to list and label anywhere where they kind of fit at times, but here's the deal. You have men and women that run into burning buildings while others are running out. You have men and women that are holding the hands of our loved ones as they're taking their last breath at the scenes of chaos and trauma incidences. We have men and women that walk out their front door every single day, pinning on a badge to get spat on and to be torn down because they're following the policies and the procedures our communities have elected officials to create. And yes, we expect them to do it at the drop of a dime, a drop of a hat, and we expect them to do it as hastily as possible with no bias and accommodate all of our needs, as we've done nothing to prepare. Now, when I say we, I'm not talking about me, folks. I'm going to be honest with you. Do I like to believe I prepared for most things in life? I'm not a prepper, so to speak. But at the same time, I've invested my life, my family's life, my limbs. I have all my limbs, but I was willing to put them on the line so that we could fight for the freedoms and the liberties that we have. And again, back to the conversation. So the conversation about Mr. Earl Jackson is that this man has created a program, a podcast, a conversation. It does lean politically. We don't talk about politics on our show. We want to accommodate all sides of the aisle. We want to believe that everyone is in this for the right reasons and the right purposes, and that we will all get there. But Mr. Earl Jackson is an amazing individual. He based his promotion and his influence on his faith, and he's pulling in. There was a whole list of people that he wants to entertain in the conversations of what mission ready men are about. And it's not, like he said, it's not about mission. Oh, you got those in there already. Thank you, Miss Eichmann. Or Frank. Should I say Frank? I don't know. I'm confident it was Andrew who put all the links in there, but it's just what a blessing he is, and the blessing that his mission is. And here's the deal. I think he would be open to conversations and having real life conversations with anyone that walked into his space that didn't necessarily agree with him. And I think that's a piece that makes it like a hard difference in, and now it's a political conversation, a hard difference in a lot of the audiences that we interact with. And I've had some of those personal conversations. This is where the People's Patriot Project stands, and it is. We are an organization of faith, and we are an organization that is out to make the world a better place for all peoples, but specifically help promote, support veterans and first responders, those that have tied on the uniform, those that have chosen to move forward. Now, again, this ain't about the People's Patriot Project. This was about Mr. Earl Jackson and Mission Ready Men. The links are up. Check them out. I don't think this will be the last time we hear Mr. Jackson or talk to Mr. Jackson.
I enjoyed what he was saying.
I think he is he's a great guest. We had a chat afterwards about he's very, very open about his positions on religion and politics. And I hope we didn't scare him with our nonprofit rule of not embracing that while on a podcast. So he was good. He was good. And very knowledgeable. I got to be the female in the room while I listened to all of that. And I got to tell you, not offended by the good men in the world wanting to be men. I appreciate it. Does anyone want to take on our musician's last name today?
Justin.
Yeah, Justin.
Yeah, he's a great musician.
Jean-So.
Okay.
Jean-So.
He's down there in Alabama.
The land of the French last names. He's a good guy.
Oh, I thought that was Louisiana.
He was born there, I believe, right? His whole family was?
Sounds like it could be, but I didn't
I
hear that
believe
part.
they were all born in Alabama.
I think he said he was the first generation Alabama born. I think the rest were from Louisiana. Don't check me, but I think that's what he said. Did I write it down? Did I put it in the notes?
Well,
No, I did not. There was a lot of background, you guys. There was a lot of intro. There was a lot of self-admission. And the songs that we had last night did do a lot of speaking to the loss of his son. So he said he's at a point in his life where he's been playing a lot of clubs and he's looking for the hard ticket shows. And the theater, he's opened for some big names. He does a lot of songwriting. He shared stories about how sometimes it just hits you and you got to sit down and put those words down, and then come full circle. He's not talented by his own right. It's a God-given talent, and he's using it to the best he can, is how it came about. So that was very cool. Frank, if you want to talk to the songs, I can. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I wasn't going to slow your train down. Let me get up here. We'll talk about the songs. He, like Andrea said, his first song that he played is called "Holding My Baby," and I'll tell you what, if you can listen to that song and not shed a tear, or at least have your eyes water, you're a tough person, because that was a very emotional song, and it was meant to be that way. He wrote it, like Andrea said, about a vehicle accident where his son lost his life. And, I can't imagine being in that position. I don't know that I would have the strength to write a song about it, but then I can't carry a note in the bucket, so it doesn't really matter. But it was a great song. I enjoyed it for what it was, but not because of what it was. And the second song was Silver Eagle. And I thought that was a third song. Anyways,
You might be
there's
right.
a song called Silver Eagle, and it was about the bus that they had. And this is a really good song. I enjoyed this one. It was one of those folksy type songs, and it was all about their travels on this old Silver Eagle bus that they purchased to go on their tours. And as a matter of fact, he wrote it while he was riding in the back seat, thinking about his son, and they named the bus Little Jake. And it was just a good song. I enjoyed that one. And then the other song that he did was called Take My Soul. And this is another one that was kind of, it was an emotional song, but it didn't have the same level of pull as the Holding My Baby did, as far as that goes. But it was a great song, and it was a song about not losing your soul and being a godly man, and staying true to who you are. And that's an important thing nowadays, because a lot of people are just folding into a side and not really standing for what they really believe. They're just moving along. And I think that's a shame.
Yeah. He did talk about another song. He does give a lot of thought and a lot of music. I can't tell you how many times it came up last night about music being healing, not just from our guests, both of them, but also from the people that were in the audience. Just incredibly healing. And I believe Justin would confirm that was the reason behind his son's named after a good friend that he lost to suicide, Jacob. And I don't think I got Jake's name, but we did. I wrote it down. Maddox Jacob Jeanceau is little Jake. And then Jake is his friend who had taken his life. And I meant to get his I believe, battle buddy, who he lost. I want to get his name as well so we can add it to our list of names. But just a lot of music in his whole entire, well, he has, let me show you this. I have this album cover, and the album cover, the album is Little Jake. And so there are a lot of songs that go back to the experience of losing a child, but also losing a friend. Losing a child who is the namesake of your friend is, I mean, it goes in circles. And he did say, though a lot of his songs weren't initially like pointed toward being a veteran and to help other veterans, in the circle of production, it becomes a mission of helping other parents who have lost a child. And then that turns into the mission of supporting their mental health. And then that brings them around to the mental health of veterans who've experienced trauma as well. Mission mindset for him all the time, mission mindset. So always being there. I also chuckled when he said he's a Marine, but then he went to Nashville. He couldn't stand Nashville. He wanted to make music. He didn't like Nashville, so he joined the Army, which to me, sorry, it made me chuckle. I know that happens a lot, but I was like, oh. On a side note, that reminds me a little bit of Scotty Hastings. He told me one time that I think this was the short version of how he got into service. He was a college baseball player who wanted to go big and got into a minor league, but things didn't happen. Things didn't happen quick enough, so I joined the Army. Like, okay, it's baseball wasn't working, so join the Army. And I just read another story about, I think it's a future guest we have too. Same thing, baseball in college, didn't think it was going to go anywhere, so join the Army. It's the service mentality, it's the love your country, it's the, I got to do something, and this isn't the something I was going to do. And so they move into the service, and that's very commendable.
Well, they need to find a big piece of land in Nashville, and they need to build a Marine base there, but not an active duty, a retired Marine base. They have things us retired folks do.
What is wrong with you?
I like your idea. Like it.
Well, they got so many there. I mean, why not?
And music. They just need a great big campfire or several campfire areas to sit around and make and play them. We're kind of looking for that piece of land, by the way, Frank. We're thinking about they don't have to be just Marines, but the musicians that came out of service, we would like to keep them close to Nashville or bring them close to Nashville, whichever it is, and let them create their craft.
Kind of even out the numbers a little bit.
I've seen where the Marines will let the Army guys play in the band with them, but I guess I've seen the Navy. Are there any Air Force musicians that we have?
You can argue we do.
We need some hard data on that, Peterson.
You can argue that we do, because we got some Space Force musicians, and they came from the Air Force.
We do have that. We do. Yeah, but it just dawned on me. There's a lot of, and it goes hand in hand. I think the combat wired people probably more aggressively seek to use music when they have that talent to use it as healing. I'm not sure. It can be fair.
Watched that short series that was on about the Space Force.
I don't
It was a comedy.
I remember seeing it and never
It was only
watched.
on for like not even a season, or maybe a little over a season. It was pretty funny. Sure, if you were part of that, you didn't probably think it was very funny.
I'm so the guests that we've had, I don't know this. I don't know this for a fact. They seem to be the creme de la creme. Like these are some smart people that are in the Space Force area. From the few that I've met, we have a couple that place wreaths for us as well. We had a Air Force Space Force female this year, and she's about my age, and she loved being part of the Space Force. So yeah, they're out there. They're out there. They're not as thick as the Army and Marines people, but they're out there. Peterson, are you taking a nap?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Where is the Space Force headquarters?
I thought it was in Texas. Everyone's Googling. Oh, Huntsville, Alabama.
Oh, there you go. I think that's where the missile defense command was at one point.
It started in Colorado. They moved it to Alabama.
Oh, don't ever move it to New Mexico.
No?
Isn't that where Roswell is?
Yeah,
that would not be a good move.
Then we know. I swear I just heard not trying to be political, but I believe Obama started it and then Trump brought it up. And I don't know, and I didn't fact check anything, but that they were going to reveal the studies on aliens. I swear I just heard it recently. So, and I'm not trying to listen, so that's why I don't know anything about it. But and then there's that new movie about the aliens. Interesting.
I don't think if there were such thing that they'd be very afraid of us. Their technology would be so far ahead of where we are. I mean, we're trying to get back around the moon again.
I don't know. Who do we? Jeremy Daniels. Look at this. Jeremy is in the house. Hi, Jeremy. Sounds like things are moving, Jeremy. We'd love to hear that. Love to hear that. And then I just want to mention WeP3 Radio. Do you know who was playing when we started, Peterson, today?
Yeah, Mr. Myers with Over the Wire.
I don't know if I was fighting my computer or fighting my internet. I don't know which it was, but it was fighting me hard. And a reminder that March is the month of the military caregiver. There's a lot that you can do, but there are also a lot of unsung military caregivers out there that take it on because it's family a lot of the time, family and loved ones. And thank you. If you know someone who's a military caregiver, please tell them thank you. And then Sunday, we'll be here Sunday, but because we're here in the evening, I just want to tell you, and I may do a visit at a celebration, but it is Vietnam Veterans Day. It was first observed in 2012 when, as a one-time occasion, when President Obama issued a proclamation calling on all Americans to observe this day with appropriate programs, ceremonies, and activities. The day was then introduced as an annual event in 2017 when Trump signed the Vietnam War Veterans Recognition Act of 2017. And we just learned that here in Minnesota, they try to put together, they had between 500 and 600 Vietnam veterans at a dinner, which the person running it, so all Minnesota peeps out there, it's overwhelming, and she's gotten older and her health can't let her do this anymore. And I believe it was at the Forest Lake VFW. Would that be right, Peterson? I didn't write it down.
I don't know.
Can't remember. But so we want to help that out. We need to find some able-bodied people aggressive and organized people to once a year just figure out how to put that dinner back on. And then got some things coming up. We have always Wreaths Across America. You guys, I just signed up with a handful of Texas. So if you go to the People's Patriot Project to sponsor some wreaths, I am specifically sponsoring wreaths in Texas and Louisiana now. So where we have branches and chapters, and we'll be adding some Tennessee. We got good friends down there that take care of the one outside Nashville. So, but if you want to sponsor wreaths through us to go down there, that would be amazing. And then Peterson's shared this, but we have the Rebuild the Brave event on the 28th in Newport Richey, Florida. And they have the Ride for Honor. And this is the American Legion Post 335. Join them for an unforgettable day of engines, community, and purpose. It has a poker run, motorcycle and cars, Jeeps, and truck show vendors, food, live entertainment, and they are raising support for veterans on their journey to healing. Boom. They're also looking at building restoration and rehabilitation centers for veterans, first responders, and survivors. Their tagline is Ride, Show, Support, Honor Our Heroes. I have some information for you here. And then coming up on the 9th of June, here in Minnesota, not in Newport Richey, Florida, which is an amazing place to stay. Here in Minnesota, we have got the Beyond the Yellow Ribbon Patriots in the Park Family Festival. So you can join us and listen to music by our friend JT and his Gunslingers. Boom. They're great. So he's got a lot of his own music, but JT and the Gunslingers are a great entertainment band. They read the crowd, figure out what's popular to get everybody communicating and engaged. Free concert, and there'll be vendors and food and games and good stuff happening at the Patriots in the Park Festival by by Yellow Ribbon, Minnesota. I think that's all. I had a lot to share, but I think that's all I had to share on this fine Monday.
We will be back here this coming Sunday for We Got Your 6 at 6. This next week's guests will be Mickey LaMantia and David Bowden. They're actually both kind of musicians, but David is kind of setting his spurs into the world of film and videography, and works in a lot of studio sets. And then Mickey LaMantia is not necessarily a veteran, but he is a Patriot player. So come check us out this Sunday. What song do you guys want to end in?
Oh, can we do one from last night?
We should.
What about the bus song?
The Silver Eagle one?
Silver Eagle.
Yeah.
We can do Silver Eagle. This is Silver Eagle
Oh.
by Justin Gene song. Mr. McKern, good to see you, brother.
Silver eagle flies to the next town through the middle of the night. It was only yesterday that I dreamed I'd be where I am today, just flying down the road, giving all of my soul, and all I wanna see is for you to be able to dream. Something deep inside tells you where you should be. Ain't that right? Don't let them dim your light. Just remember it's up to you to shine. Just fly on down the road, giving all of your soul. Only then will you see it's the only way to be able to dream. Oh, dream. Oh, dream. Dream. My silver eagle flies to the next town through